many women who fit my profile, first gen American, high achiever, always used to doing excellent, being excellent, pushing yourself, leveling up, whatever it is you want to call it. I became very good at it. And low key, it became normal to say, okay, I achieved this thing. Now what's next? And is there anything inherently wrong with that? Not necessarily. But the bottom line is that being excellent and being used to being a high achiever came at a cost that was far greater than I anticipated. So this summer is the summer that I choose Whimsy. So what does that mean for somebody like me? Well, first of all, here's a little bit about me. Last 15 plus years, I have been excelling in talent development, culture, and across a whole bunch of different industries, from the government to tech to advertising and to big law. So, corporate baddie through and through. At the same time, I've also made myself very, very known as being calm under fire, being the one who's always got it handled, being a great team player, reliable, being a mentor, setting an example, and then also doing things like starting a business, being on boards of nonprofits, consulting, availing myself to be a listening ear or to give advice. And all of that is fun until you start realizing there are certain things that I've sacrificed. And in my case, I sacrificed a lot. So, first things first, I started to identify who I was with what I produced. And what I produced, if it wasn't connected to something that I deemed or that others deemed as impressive, it made me start feeling less impressive to myself. And when you live in a place like DC, that kind of matters, right? Like in my case, it mattered. And there were some side effects that when I look back on it now, it makes me a little bit sad. Like I think about the fact that I started to turn hobbies, things that gave me genuine joy, into like strategies, into things to be monetized. Like, not every hobby needs to be monetized. Sometimes you just do things for the love of the game. And I lost that because the temptation all around me and everything that I saw was, well, you got to hustle, you got to make your mark, you need to make money. And while there's some truth to that, the for the love of the game, the fun of it all was lost. And that put me in a position where, as a creative person who already doesn't even work in a creative space, but as a naturally creative person, it turned the creativity that I naturally had and the things that I like to do just for fun into something that I critiqued and evaluated, which didn't make it fun anymore. So, what became something like, okay, I want to get back into crocheting. Well, I'm not good at it. I can't crochet something that's good enough to sell. So I put it down and don't and give it up because it's not good enough. Or I'm putting together or I'm making candles because I like candles and it's something that I enjoyed making and giving to my friends. But then the idea comes and says, well, you can sell them. And it's like, well, I don't know if they're good enough to sell, so I don't make them as frequently. And that totally loses the meaning of what it means to live in a state of whimsy, to dilly dally, to do things just because. So that's why I am choosing something differently. And it's a little bit scary because your girl is a little neurospicy, but still type A. And I like to have a plan about things. And the closest thing to a plan that I have is that I'm going to commit to this from now until September. I'm choosing to do things a little bit unstructured. um, and I would say like it's worth it because even though I don't know what's going to happen next, I can, for the very least, say I know what's not going to happen, which was last summer when I had a plan for everything and I was stretching myself super thin, and my mental health took a huge blow. So much so that I had to take a mental health leave from work. like it was that real. So to avoid that happening, I'm doing something about it this time. I'm being proactive. And it's different from like a self care day or rest, because we talk about rest a whole lot in different spaces, but this is different. This is not rest because this implies that this should be like a temporary thing. And what I'm hoping for is that there won't be an end. I'm filming this like until September, but I think the goal here is that the whimsy will feed my productivity and professional life, and my professional life will feed my whimsy and productivity. One and the same, integrated. And again, I don't know what that's going to look like specifically, but I have a couple of ideas, starting with cutting the camera on and talking to y'all. Um, it starts with allowing room and space for a little magic, you know, throughout the days and weeks. Um, and I don't know, leaving room for whatever happens. And again, this is very weird for me because whatever happens, happens. That's not really in my ethos. I'm not a go with the flow kind of person. Like as a rule, I have moments, but this is more of an extended moment. So you're gonna follow along with me while we figure this out together. um, so what's coming next is you're gonna see what a day looks like for me, totally unstructured. Um, we're gonna figure out what that looks like together. um, and I would love for you to come do this with me. Follow along, watch this journey, watch this space. If anything that I said resonates with you, if you're also a hardworking, high achieving corporate baddie who feels like there's a breaking point, then come follow along and maybe take some ideas or take what you see me do and put your own spin on it. We're going to figure this out together. So I'm choosing Whimsy this summer, and I thank you for watching me make this choice. See you next time. Bye.